What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm gonna talk about how to raise your self-esteem. A lot of people really struggle with their self-esteem in today's society. I was one of those people, actually. And there are some principles that you learn that can help you to overcome your low self-esteem. So here are some of the ways to overcome it. One of the ways to raise your self-esteem is to find out what you're good at and develop it. A lot of times we don't know what we're good at, and so that's why we have to understand what we're good at in order to develop it and to bring about a sense of competence. So the easiest way to do that, it's because you know yourself more than other people know you. So you have to ask yourself and look inwards and say, what am I good at? And work on that and make that thing better. And you will notice that as your competence and skill increase, your self-esteem is also going to increase. If you don't know what you're good at, maybe you can ask your family or your friends. Usually those people are close to you and they know what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. And so they'll be able to pinpoint exactly what you need to work on in order to become better at that thing. If you're still not sure, take a personality test. There are personality tests out there that are good, and there are personality tests out there that are not so good. So I suggest that you do your research, figure out which personality test works best, and don't just take any random online personality test. It has to be one that's credible. Another thing to do to raise your self-esteem is to develop social skills. Have you ever noticed that people who are very social, they're always confident? You've never seen a person who's social, but they have a low self-esteem. Oftentimes, people who are social have a higher self-esteem, and they're very well liked by others. So one of the ways to bridge that is to start talking to family and friends. You can use that in a sense as practice because you already know them. They already know you. You guys feel comfortable with each other. So it will make it so much easier for you to practice your social skills. And if you feel inclined, you can ask them, hey, was that weird what I said or what I did? And they can say yes or no, and they can give you tips on how to improve. Another thing you can do is when you're going to a service place like a restaurant or just a shopping center, say hi to the people that are serving you and engage in small talk. Now, I'm not saying you should take up all of their time because they also have a job to do, but practice engaging in small talk because a lot of times, I know I used to struggle with this myself. I didn't really like small talk. I thought it was superficial and shallow. But oftentimes you can use small talk as a launching pad to become more competent at engaging people more deeply. And the more you do it, obviously, the better you become at it. If you suffer from social anxiety, though, because a lot of people tend to have anxiety, so they're not able to bring themselves to talk to others. I know I have that condition myself, the social anxiety. What you can do is talk to a licensed therapist because oftentimes what you need is someone who's a professional to help you in this issue, and so you shouldn't just ignore it and think that it's not that important because believe me, it is, and it's going to help you a lot in your life. Lastly, if the problem is too big, like I mentioned, do talk to a therapist because oftentimes we don't really know what the exact problem is. What are we anxious about? So a therapist is more likely to figure that out for you and why it's causing your low self-esteem. He or she is able to pinpoint the things that are making you feel anxious. Oftentimes it's just being self-conscious, too self-conscious around others, and that makes you worried about what they think about you when in reality, they're not really thinking about you that much. It's just mostly in your head. A lot of times it could be negative self-talk. Negative self-talk does obviously cause a lot of anxiety and just overall lower self-esteem. A lot of it can come from trauma that you've experienced in your life, and so it's only going to be a professional who's going to ultimately be able to help you with that issue, because other people are not specialized, and so they're not going to be able to dig deeply into those details and help you to unpack it so that way you raise your self-esteem. And maybe if you have people who are just putting you down or don't support you, don't hang around with those people. Make sure you cut those people off or limit the interaction with them as much as possible. You don't really need people who put you down or don't support you. You need people who are going to be behind you and who will support you 100%. It doesn't mean that they will not tell you the truth, because those are also not good people. You need people who will tell you the truth, but tell it to you in love. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. Make sure that if you really like this content, that you subscribe, that you like, that you comment, that you share this video with other people, so that way I can be able to help out more people out there, and hopefully I can make this my full-time gig. I appreciate you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.